Maxwell, and I'd like to thank you all for being here. This is the Conspiracy Con 2005, the main speaker's room, and the speaker next is a dear friend of mine, a man who has continued the kind of research that I've been doing for many years. He's one of the few speakers that speaks on the subject that we do that has actually a really deep spiritual understanding of the subject. Many people talk about it academically, but few really understand the dark, mystical, secret establishment behind the subject of symbols and emblems and words and terms. And Michael Tsarion has distinguished himself in my eyes as being a man of true spiritual understanding, and this is what makes his work so important in my view. It's both an honor and a pleasure to present my dear friend and colleague, Mr. Michael Tsarion.
Thank you, Jordan. See you later. Thank you, Jordan. That's fine praise coming from the man who alone deserves the title of the world's most controversial speaker. It's good to be back with you all again for another year, remarkably, of Conspiracy Con. And I'd like to thank you all for being here for the conference and to be with me now. I'd also like to especially thank Brian Hall for, again, working his ass off to pull this event together. It's a remarkable event. It's about truth. I think that I personally want to thank him. I think we should all thank him with some applause for that. And I know that by all of you coming here also, by attending here, it's a sign. It's a sign of your own desire, your passionate desire for truth, for the real meaning. You're supporting us, the researchers and the disseminators of truth. Not conspiracy theories, but the disseminators of truth, the research community, those who've looked into the matters that lie behind the veil of appearance. But your support of that shows your commitment, your ultimate commitment to that journey. Because you're distinguishing yourself from that mass of smiling depressives out there who are happy to learn more and more about less and less until they end up knowing a lot about nothing. That's what's happening by way of the media. You're part of the people who want to expose this faux democracy of this two-party system, because that's coming down on us now. We have also the rise of fundamental evangelist Christian paradigms again, because that's a form of mind control that's worked for 2,000 years, and it's back. So why reinvent the wheel, right? That's worked for thousands of years. Well, you wheel it out again. And we have to offset that. They have their own particular brand of sick theology that's helped drug, you see, drug the mass, drug the human child. And now, because of the age that we're in, I'll be sharing more about that later, the astrological time that we're in, because we're in an age of awakening, because the child of humanity is ready to wake, he's straining at his chains, they're ready there with the injection for yet a larger dose of mind control, a larger dose of toxic, you see, mind control drug, so to keep you down. So you're straining at your chains, and they're ready to administer yet more of their poison. The patient, as he struggles to release himself, the more you struggle to release yourself, the more you're in danger, you see, of a greater barrage of toxicity. Now, as Jordan has said many times, we're not going to understand the world we're living in unless we do understand the past. And anyone who's read my book on Atlantis, almost on the first page there, I even echo that and repeat that and say that, in fact, we better realize that even things that we have taken as being mythologies, things that we consider to be myths, they're about to happen. Things that we take for mythologies, St. George and his dragon, right? The fall of Lucifer, things we think are of the past, they're far from of the past. They might even be things of the future. I know that sounds like a paradox, but think about it. Now, the title of tonight's talk is The Origins of Evil. And if that sounds heavy, it is. I've got some fascinating things to share, and around about the middle of the presentation also, I'll be sharing something of the greatest importance with you concerning the origins of evil and concerning the climate that we find ourselves in politically. During the talk, you're going to discover, when you walk out that door, you will be in no doubt about it. If your ears are open, you're paying attention. By the time you walk out that door, you will know today why evil is in the world. I have been questioning that question since as far back as I can remember. It's what got me into all of this. The question of evil should be on the minds of every single human being in the world. It's not on the minds of everybody in the world, but it damn well should be. And if we don't resolve that and find out why we are so inhuman, where this injustice, cruelty, sadism comes from, we are actually bequeathing that question to our children. And everything else rests upon the foundation of that. Our empowerment lies on that question. And I have dedicated my whole life to that research with the help of mentors like Jordan. We've been asking the same questions, we've been asking the right questions. Because within the understanding of that is the secret to bring this Goliath down. And it won't be the first time that a small band of outlaws has brought down an empire, an evil empire. And it won't be the first time that a giant has been destroyed by a boy with a simple weapon. That boy is America. That boy is the people sitting right here. The intelligence community are you. When you know what the truth is and how to use it. But this story of the origins of evil starts in the past. So let's start at the beginning. Robert, if you want to, we can begin. Now, if you look up the term conspiracy theory, it actually is a legitimate sociological term, by the way. And you can go to a sociological dictionary, a thing called a sociological dictionary, like the Collins Sociological Dictionary, and look up the term conspiracy theory. And it's perfectly understood to sociologists what that means. There's nothing negative or reprehensible about it. And in the caption, it usually says that a conspiracy theory is only something reprehensible if two things happen. One is if it is delivered in an outlandish, irrational manner, and B, if it is delivered without any decent proof or evidence. Now, as all of you have seen by being here just in the last couple of days, have you not heard eloquence from this podium? You've heard incredible eloquence. And you'll hear that from me. And you have also heard a lot of them back it up with, resources. And my work fits into that category too. I will present it in an eloquent way, and you will be given the proof. It's on the website, it's in my book, and there are sources. But as a matter of fact, you actually don't even have to be, you or your neighbors, into conspiracy theories at all. All you have to do to be here tonight, or be into the subject matter, is want to make sense of the world that you're living in. Now, you want to have to make sense of it rationally and passionately, I'm saying, not just because, your life sucks and you want some answers. No, I mean with the whole of your being. You want answers to this mystery that we call life, that we are participating in, extraordinary beings living a very ordinary, thinking we're living an ordinary life. Now, if you want answers to the world out there, you probably discovered by now that the corporate media ain't helping. Now, they're not only not going to help, they're going to make it worse. So that's why you have to pick up the slack on your own time, obviously, and come here. Now, Jordan asked an important question at last year's Conspiracy Con. He's asked it since 1992, and probably in his own life, God knows how far back he's been asking the same question. A very similar question to what I've been asking after years of researching this particular subject of secret societies, fraternities, whatnot. And that is, look, and I mean the symbolism shows you already that something's up. If there are lower rungs, if there's lower tiers of the great power pyramid, then who is at the top of the power pyramid? You can't study this subject very long before you'll actually start asking that question. It's a good question. It needs to be answered. Who is at the top? Who is this? Jordan says it definitely could not be a human intelligence, and I absolutely concur with that point. That it's not human because it's too smart. It's too intelligent.